Hey folks, Dr. Killinger here. A lot of people have been requesting that we do a review on the KO Oversized Warbotron. I'm not really good at reviews, let's face it. I don't have the best voice, and I definitely don't have the equipment for it. So what I'm going to end up doing is just a quick overview of the quality and any points of interest that I should note with the assembly or construction quality of this set. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with this plastic baggies parts that you see here. It contains the combiner parts, combiner gun, the combiner feet, combiner hands, and in a separate little baggie that is actually sealed are all the weapons and few other odds and ends like Onslaught's missile packs, the combiner skirts, the blades for Vortex. So let's go ahead and let's open this up real quick. Oh, and it also includes this what looks like toy grease to lube the joints to prevent wear and tear on them, which is actually a very nice little bonus. This little thing will go a long way. You won't need more than this for maybe 5 or 6 different combiners. Okay, yeah, like I said, here's the weapons and accessories for the various figures. It comes with the shoulder cannon piece for Swindle, which is another nice little bonus that the original did not have. I think it came separate at one point. Here's the pieces of the skirt armor that attach in combined mode. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to include those in this baggie instead of on the trailer. Probably some kind of packaging issue. I'm not sure because this is a set that I got early. It's a loose set. It's not in a box. They just tossed them all in 6 different sets into one giant box. And I had to sort them out and get the parts other than these baggies, which were already sealed. So, I mean, you guys can see basically that all the accessories are in these little baggies. So if you don't see it in there, chances are yours probably didn't have it and I forgot to include it. But if you ordered from us, that's not going to be a problem because we will be looking through each and every set we receive before we ship it off to the customers to make sure everything is there. Make the transaction as hassle-free as possible. Set these to the side for now. And there's the instructions. It really shouldn't need the instructions. Most of you are familiar. But with the transformations and combinations, but they are included. I just want to note something real quick on these feet. The original Warbotron had those terrible yellow ratchets that break after 1 or 2 clicks. The KO company that made this, I believe, Weijing, they actually molded that ratchet as a part of the whole foot on the inside. And it's molded using the same plastic as the foot itself. So it won't have any breaking issues. I've been testing this for a while now, and the joints are incredibly solid. You can hear it does have a ratchet, and it does hold the combiner in place. But no more fear of those broken ratchets. The hands are almost the same as the original, but they did hollow them out a little bit. Of course, you know, to save money. But everything else is fine, and it's 100% the same. Fingers, joints, they're all tight. Really, really tight. So he has no problem holding on to his combined mode gun. Especially since it does have the peg. It's solid. It's in there. It's not going nowhere. Even without the fingers claws. It would help if you close them. But as you can see, it's really not needed. We can go ahead and set these to the side now and bring out the actual figures themselves. and we'll do a quick overview on all the figures and anything that would need to be pointed out. We'll go ahead and we'll start with Onslaught here. He is rather large, so he's hard to fit into the small recording space that I have. All the joints on him are tight. As you can see, he has no problem standing on his own. Pretty solid. So no problem standing on his own. Hands are exactly the same. One thing that I did notice off the bat as soon as we opened these guys is that it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but right there, the arm is slightly hollowed out. Another cost-saving measure, I would imagine. But you could definitely see where they hollowed out that mushroom peg where it slots in there. Also, the light piping has been mostly removed. It's just a tiny little slot in there that connects to the eyes because it is molded into 3 separate pieces: the head, 2 head parts, and the eyes. So it does have light piping. It's tiny. It's there. It doesn't work as good as the original. I personally don't like light piping. I'm more of a metallic eyes kind of guy, so I just kind of wish if they were going to do that with the light piping, they would just giving him metallic eyes and orange eyes at that, since I believe most horses have him with orange eyes. There's no ratchet here at the shoulder. There is, I believe, yeah, there's one there at the bicep. None at the swivel. Tight ratchet at the legs. Another tight ratchet at the knees. And there's a ratchet outward as well. The cannons are also easier to clip on than the original, since they don't have a slight gap, and they go into place really well. They're also held on really well. The combiner head also has a tighter tolerance, so it stays on his actual head better. Other than that, I can't remember of anything else that I would need to note. If I think of anything, we'll come back to him. And then, here's Swindle. He's also almost identical to the original. Mostly what changes with this guy is the hands, and this is on all of them. The hands, as you can see, they're pretty shaved and thin down here at the fingers. It doesn't affect them in any way, and it doesn't look like they're going to be easy to break. You know, putting a little bit of force on there, and they're not really bending. They're just a lot thinner than the originals. Again, probably another cost-cutting measure. Same thing with the light piping. You can actually see it better here. It's just that little slot that lights up the eyes. So it's not as good as the original, but there is some there. He also has improved joints, way better over the original, because they added ratchets. They got a ratchet at the elbow, got a ratchet at the shoulder, you got forward and back super tight ratchet, no ratchets at the knee, but you do have another ratchet at the thigh. And he also stands up, no problems. You got Brawl. He has the same issue with the hands as Swindle and all the other guys. Really not an issue. It's just a cost-cutting measure. He does also have improved ratchets as well. He doesn't have any ratchets here at the elbow. Doesn't have any at the shoulders. And a lot of people complain that they didn't fix the shoulders on him. It's a valid complaint. I mean, the original prototypes did have improved shoulders. They could have gone ahead and added them on him, but again, I'm sure they wanted to cut costs as much as possible. He does have the ratchets here at the forward, the knee, and the in and out. He has a slight more of a harder time standing up, but this is because of the original, and also they didn't really tighten the heel spurs that he has. A little bit of super glue or Future will tighten them up, but that one does have a little bit harder time standing up. I mean, it's not possible. It's not hard at all. He does it. Stands up. Just you have to make sure the spurs are in place and they stay in place while they're there. Here's Vortex. Vortex has the hardest time standing up. He doesn't have any ratchets here, and they are fairly loose on the heel spurs. He does stand up without any problems as well. I just wish, since they were already improving everything on these guys, they could have improved those, made the tolerances a little bit tighter, so he holds the pose a lot easier and a lot better. Still the same yellow canopy as the original. Another thing they could have changed and made that, a smoke color or gunmetal, something other than that gaudy yellow. A lot of people didn't like it, and I personally don't like it. No ratchets there. He does have no ratchets here either. He does have the leg ratchets, forward and back. He has the knee ratchets, and he has the in and out ratchet. Him and Blastoff both have the tightest ratchets here, because it's, they become the arms, so they do hold the weight of the gun. But those are really, really tight ratchets. And finally, we have Blastoff. He also doesn't have any issues that I can think of other than, well, again, not an issue, other than the hands being slimmer like everybody else's. He has no ratchets here. He has no ratchets here. He also has that minuscule light piping. This is a lot tighter. On the original, it was not tight. So whenever anybody did this, it would just flop out and discombobulate itself, but it actually has no problem staying in place. So they did tighten that. He does have, again, the super strong ratchet at the thighs, in and out ratchet, and the knee ratchet. He has no problems standing up either, as long as you can, get his little feet in place. And we'll do some quick size comparisons. Here's the Combiner Wars Blastoff with this guy. You can see he's pretty tiny compared to that. Here we have his Machine Boy counterpart. Quite larger. Another thing that has been asked quite a bit is, how is the plastic quality on those guys? It's nowhere near as bad as KO Rex. It's a lot better than KO Rex, but it's not quite as good as this, as Machine Boy. The feel, actually, it's not as dense. It's a lighter plastic that they're using. It's less dense, so I guess people would say it feels cheap. While it doesn't feel as dense and it does feel cheaper, it's not a weak plastic, and I really don't think these would really suffer any issues as far as breakage. I have seen just one stress mark, I believe, and it was on the back of Onslaught. I forget exactly where. I'll try to find it in a minute. But other than that, I haven't noticed any real stress marks on any of the plastic. This mold, the original Warbotron, the mushroom peg here, was incredibly tight, and in a lot of people's it would squeak and squeal as you turned it. This one doesn't have that issue. They did address that. They fixed it. Doesn't squeak. And this isn't just on this set. I've tested 4 other sets so far. I haven't got to test all 6, but I did test 4. And quality has been consistent throughout. But like I said, their plastic is not as dense, so it may feel cheaper, but again, it doesn't mean it's going to break or have any issues down the road. All the tolerances are tight, and I think they're as tight as they're going to get without causing any issues. So they probably thought about that while they were fixing the molds. And let's do a couple more comparisons. Here we have them with the add-on. I still have the clear version because I haven't had any extras in black. There he is with a DX9 Mitron. Mitron's considerably larger, and we'll probably compare him to. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and compare these larger ones to Onslaught. So let's get these guys out of the way, and we'll go ahead and bring out Onslaught into frame so we can compare him better with these other guys. Alright, there's Mitron with Onslaught, pretty much head to head, which is really nice. And here's going to be Onslaught with Iron Shell. Again, they work really well together. Scales pretty good, in my opinion. And then we'll bring out another big boy, another quote-unquote masterpiece scale. DX9's Hanzo. He's actually quite a bit larger, but you can see still within the quote-unquote masterpiece scale. I do plan on combining these and doing a quick combined mode synopsis, because again, I'm not a reviewer. I don't have the equipment, I don't have the voice, I don't have the personality, and I definitely don't edit or do 2 takes. I only do 1 take. So I'll go ahead and I'll get these guys combined, and I'll upload that in a separate video. But here's Onslaught. Since he didn't exactly have any weapons of his own, here's one that we've been working on. It looks pretty good. It fits him well. It's a nice large BFG. And it works really well with this guy. I intended these actually for Iron Shell, but looks good on him. Scales perfectly, as a matter of fact. So there we go. That's my quick synopsis of the quality, any things to watch out for, the ratchets that they added, and things like that. And I know mostly everybody who's going to buy this is probably going to buy it for combined mode. So I'll go ahead and I'll stop babbling, and I got to go take care of some things, and we'll get combined mode uploaded, and hopefully he can fit within the frame. I doubt it, but we'll get it in there, and we'll talk about those joints.